What's up, guys? Welcome back into Cardinal College football predictions. Last week was a little bit of an okay week. I went 2-2. Of course, Michigan State made me look like an idiot. Uh, I picked Michigan to kind of expose what I thought was an overrated Michigan State defense, but Michigan State absolutely shut them down, and in the process made me look like a fool. That's all right. I'm putting last week behind me. Looking forward to this week. A great week in college football. I have 4 games picked out for you, so let's get started with those right now. First off, we have Oklahoma going into Baylor. Now, Baylor is first in the country in points per game. They're first in the country in passing yards, and they're seventh in the country in rushing yards. So offensively, they've been tearing it up. They also have 70 or more points in 4 games this year, which is phenomenal. And according to ESPN, they have 2 people in the top 10 in the running for the Heisman. That is Bryce Petty and Lachey Seastrunk. I think that's how you say his first name. But back to Bryce Petty. Like I said, he is in the top 10 in the Heisman, but he isn't getting lots of credit that he really deserves. His numbers are definitely Heisman worthy. He has a completion percentage of almost 70%. He has 2,500 yards, 18 touchdowns, and only 1 interception. Um, I think that the thing that's holding him back in the Heisman race is that he hasn't really played many good teams. This is his chance this week to prove to the country that he is a real Heisman contender. Uh, if he could shine in this game against a pretty strong Oklahoma defense, it will definitely boost his chances to win the Heisman. And this Baylor offense, I think, has been getting it done throughout the whole year, and I don't think that this Oklahoma defense could stop them. So I'm going with the Bears in this one. It's a little bit of a tough pick for me, but eventually I decided I'm going with Baylor, and I'm sticking with that. Next up, we have LSU going into Alabama. Now, this game hasn't really been hyped up, I guess you could say, as much as it was last year, mainly because LSU is a 2-loss team, but it's still a very, very good game. Now, Alabama, so far this year, has beaten teams by an average of 31.5 points per game, which is ridiculous. They've only allowed more than 10 points in a game one time this year, and that was, of course, to Johnny Manziel and Texas A&M. Very, very good offensive team. But this LSU offense, on the other hand, they're 66th in the country when it comes to fewest turnovers, so they have a little bit of trouble with holding onto the ball. And you just never know which Zach Menberger is going to really show up. You have the one Zach Menberger who started off the season phenomenally, or you have the one who in the past 2 games against lesser opponents throws 5 interceptions. So, I mean, you just really can't count on Zach Mettenberger to show up in a hostile environment and be incredible. I just don't see how he could do that against such a great Alabama defense in this game. Also, you have to remember, I have not heard anything about Alabama until this week. I mean, sure, there was the 1 game, second week of the season against Texas A&M, but they've been staying up there, the first ranked team in the country. They haven't been getting no talk at all. I'm sure that these Alabama players are quite mad about that. This is the game I think that they're going to show up and definitely prove why they're number one and always will be number one in the top 25. I think that they, as a team, offensively and defensively, will show up and eventually beat LSU. So I'm going with the Crimson Tide over the Tigers in this one. Now it's time for the big game of the week. It's Oregon against Stanford. Now this is a little bit of a revenge game for Oregon. Actually, a lot of a revenge game for Oregon. Last year, Stanford beat Oregon 17-14 in overtime. That was in week 12 of the college football season, and it completely destroyed Oregon's chances of going to the BCS National Championship game. So they have that in the back of their heads. But this Oregon team, I think, is far better from what they were last year. You know that Oregon is always going to put up points. They're second in the country in that category. But the thing that surprised me is that they're also seventh in the country in fewest points allowed. So they've definitely worked on their defensive game. And I think that's key in this game a little bit because Stanford in their past 3 games has only averaged 21 points a game, and they lost to Utah in a huge upset. So offensively, they've been struggling a little bit. And another key thing, or key person, I should say, you have to look at in this game is Marcus Mariota. He has been on everybody's Heisman radar, number one, and he's been phenomenal. I think that he's going to be really key in this game because on the road in 8 games in his career, he has 2,122 yards. He has 25 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions. Those are phenomenal numbers. I think that he's going to be key in this game. I also think that it's going to be a little bit of an offensive struggle throughout the first half. Maybe even Stanford is winning at the end of the first half, but Marcus Mariota and the Oregon Ducks offense will eventually pull away, and they will get the win over Stanford in the big game of the week. So the Ducks over the Cardinal. Now it's time for the night train, lock of the week, and it's Virginia Tech losing to Miami. So I should have said that a different way. Miami over Virginia Tech. Now, even though Virginia Tech lost to Bama by 25 points in the first game of the year, they played very well. They definitely challenged Alabama, and people had very high expectations for them going into the year. But they have not been living up to those expectations. They're 65th in the country in passing yards, 107th in rushing, and 102nd in points per game. Logan Thomas has thrown 6 interceptions in the past 2 games, and in those past 2 games, Virginia Tech has lost both of them, including a little bit of an embarrassing loss to Duke. It was like 13-10, I think the score was. So they have no momentum going into this game, even though Duke Johnson, key part of this Miami offense, is out. I believe that Miami will bounce back after a blowout loss to Florida State, and they get the win over Virginia Tech. So that's it for me. I hope you enjoy your week in college football. Peace.